Blackmore.
Kickboxing, one of the many unders within martial arts itself. In today's fighting style variant episode, we're going to be going over 10 different kickboxing styles out there, and some are going to be very familiar to y'all of the channel, and then there's going to be some in there that I have never discussed or talked about on this channel, and a few of my personal favorites out there. So I hope you enjoy what I have in store in today's episode for you all, because in the world of kickboxing, we're also going to be going over why is it so popular in fighting games. Why do you see at least a plethora of kickboxers throughout traditional fighting games? But kick back, relax, and enjoy today's episode, folks, because you are in for a treat. Check it out. American kickboxing focuses on punches and kicks above the waist, with no elbow strikes, low kicks, or clinching allowed. Coming from the depths of full contact karate, with lots of bouncy footwork, bladed stances, side kicks. Even you'll hear American kickboxing dubbed from people as the long pants kickboxing style. Karate and a few other martial arts became pretty popular here in America, including boxing. It wasn't until 1970s when this became an actual thing. Unfortunately, its popularity went down pretty hard due to MMA blowing up, and Muay Thai took over, which those low kicks were like kryptonite towards the bladed stance. One of the big pioneers of full contact fighting that we have to give flowers to on making American kickboxing popular here is Benny Urquidez, aka The Jet, 6-time world champion in 5 weight class divisions, which is someone I talked about previously on the channel. Being undefeated during his fighting career for 27 years, I'm sure he'll look familiar to those that have seen Jackie Chan's Meals on Wheels and Dragons Forever, just to name a few famous films out there. He was even the stuntman and coordinator for Street Fighter the movie. So there's only a tiny few characters on hand that use American kickboxing or take inspirations from it. As basic as it is, Joe from Street Fighter 1 uses this style. DJ from the Street Fighter series was created heavily with this purpose by his American designer James Goddard, who was inspired by Billy Blanks in the movie King of the Kickboxers. People often forget Billy Blanks is the real deal, being in multiple competitions out there. No, he wasn't just known for the Taibo exercises out there. So Goddard gave DJ a mixture of styles like Western kickboxing and capoeira for his description to Capcom Japan during the time. Thus, the fun-loving kickboxing music mogul we all know and love was born. Even SNK has stepped their toes with American kickboxers, like Franco Bash from Fatal Fury 3. The 3D era of Mortal Kombat for American kickboxers was Cobra. Yeah, I know, that sounds bad. But even Steve from Kensai Sacred Fist is another American kickboxer in the world of fighting games. Yeah, I'm digging pretty deep into the crates of fighters for this one. Happen to know any more American kickboxers out there? Let me know in the comments. I really couldn't think or find more beyond these characters. Japanese kickboxing popped onto the scene in the 1960s, blending elements of traditional Muay Thai and karate. Promoted by Osamu Noguchi and Tatsuo Yamada, it quickly gained popularity for its fast-paced action and diverse techniques. Unlike pure Muay Thai, Japanese kickboxing strongly focuses on high-energy combinations with footwork and often places less focus on clinching. Fighters are usually encouraged to mix punches, kicks, and knees for dynamic attacks. Now, for this next section, I felt it was appropriate to talk about both Japanese kickboxing and K1 due to their association going hand in hand. Now, K1, established in 1993, evolved as a global brand of kickboxing that refined the sport for maximum entertainment. Known for its unique tournament format, K1 brought together fighters from so many striking disciplines out there to compete under its specific rule set. It was heavily influenced by Japanese kickboxing. In fact, K1 founder Kazuyoshi Ushi is a Seto Kaikon karate master, was inspired by the energy and style of Japanese kickboxing, but wanted to create a more universal platform for stand-up striking arts. Japanese kickboxing and K1 are not exactly the same, but it's pretty synonymous with each other. K1 is a pretty big popular promotion for kickboxing in Japan, heavily influencing it, adding elements from different styles from karate, Muay Thai, and boxing like I mentioned before. But this is the key thing that makes it the most widely recognized form of Japanese kickboxing. So, you can consider these two extremely related. I really can't think of any characters that represent or loosely base their styles around Japanese kickboxing and fighting games. Throughout all of my research and even just looking through, scouring the combs of different and obscure games out there, but really didn't have too much luck. If you know any, please feel free to name them in the comments. Unlike traditional Muay Thai or American kickboxing, Dutch kickboxing is a hybrid style. It combines Western boxing, the devastating low kicks of Kyokushin karate, the clinch work, and strategies of Muay Thai, creating a pretty unique style among itself. One of the defining characteristics of Dutch kickboxing is its big focus on combinations. Fighters string together punches, kicks, knees, and sometimes elbows in seamless, flowing sequences. The philosophy is simple. Keep your opponent on the defensive and never let up your pressure against them. In Dutch kickboxing, you'll rarely see single strikes. Instead, you'll see combinations like jab cross low kick or hook cross high kick are drilled relentlessly. These combos are designed to break down an opponent's defense and capitalize on openings. Low kicks are a pretty big staple in Dutch kickboxing, borrowed from Kyokushin karate and refined through years of practice, using quite a bit of low kicks to attack the legs and destabilize their opponents. This style is built on constant pressure. Fighters are often trained to dominate the ring, cut off angles, and keep their opponents on their back foot. This aggressive mindset often forces mistakes, which Dutch fighters capitalize on immediately. Now, this doesn't mean they mindlessly go in every time in a fight. Dutch fighters are highly technical, combining offense with super tight defensive skills, like shelling up or parrying strikes, just to stay safe while attacking. Brian Fury from the Taken series embodies Dutch kickboxing so much. Even with some of his exaggerated moves, he's heavily inspired by this style, especially with the emphasis on his low kicks. It explains so much why hatchet kick is one of his vital moves out there. I can't really think of any other characters out there representing Dutch kickboxing, but if you happen to know any, please feel free to comment and let me know. Yaw Yan, also known as Dance of Death, created in the 1970s by Napoleon Fernandez. It's a striking art that blends elements of traditional Filipino fighting techniques with a modern approach to combat. The foundation for Yaw Yan is rooted in unorthodox kicks, spinning attacks, and fluid movement, making it both an art and an effective self-defense system. Think of it this way compared to Muay Thai. Muay Thai relies heavily on straightforward strikes using fists, elbows, knees, and shins, combined with a powerful clinch work. Yaw Yan, on the other hand, places greater focus on long-range attacks, especially spinning and jumping kicks. Yaw Yan fighters often avoid clinching, favoring mobility and unpredictability. Think of Muay Thai as a hammer, which is direct and powerful, and Yaw Yan is like a blade, sharp, precise, and cutting from unexpected angles. Only other character out there in the history of fighting games that represents this style pretty heavily is Josie from Tekken 7, one of the many newcomers around that time. She uses Yaw Yan primarily while using empty hand techniques from Eskrima. It's a shame she didn't make it back into Tekken 8, but maybe soon she'll come back. Much more redefined in her gameplay too. Now, ShootBoxing, or SB for short, was founded in 1985 in Japan by former kickboxer Caesar Takashi. Now, at first glance, it looks just like kickboxing, but there's a twist. Fighters can throw, clinch, and even submit their opponents while standing. Think of it as striking with takedowns and submissions, all without going to the ground. Unlike regular kickboxing, fighters can execute hip throws, sweeps, suplexes, as long as they stay standing. Standing submissions are allowed. This is where things get pretty wild in my opinion. Fighters can attempt standing guillotines, arm bars, and even kurumas. If you tap out, you lose instantly. Unlike MMA, fighters don't go to the ground. Instead, takedowns and submission attempts earn points similar to striking combos. This style gives fighters opportunities to use judo, wrestling, submissions, while still using Japanese kickboxing as a base. A pretty interesting hybrid style. Some characters out there that I can think of that use SB are Benamaru from KOF, who uses a loosely based shootboxing style of his own creation within that series. This style has been featured many times onto the channel, but I'll go about breaking it down in a different way this time and a little bit shortened. Sanshou, or Sanda, was originally developed by the Chinese military as a realistic hand-to-hand combat system. And over time, it evolved into a sport, mixing traditional kung fu techniques with modern combat strategies. Unlike Muay Thai or Dutch kickboxing, Sanshou fighters can catch kicks, throw opponents, and execute sweeps, all within the rule set. This adds a pretty whole new level of strategy into the mix. Sanshou fighters uses a variety of kung fu based kicks, like side kicks, spinning back kicks, and even jumping kicks. While Muay Thai relies on heavy roundhouse kicks, Sanshou fighters use footwork and angles to land powerful yet unpredictable strikes. While Muay Thai fighters can work in the clinch with elbows and knees, Sanshou doesn't really allow extended clinching. Fighters must execute a throw or strike quickly before the ref resets the action. It does not allow elbows or submissions. The main focus is on punching, kicking, and throws, making it a hybrid between kickboxing and wrestling rather than a full-on grappling art, which is most interesting aspect to me. One of the few representatives of Sanshou out there in actual fights are Kun Lee in the MMA world if you want to watch this kickboxing style in action. When you think of kickboxing, styles like Muay Thai, K1, and Dutch kickboxing might come to mind immediately. But there's one fighting style that takes striking to an entirely different level, and one of my personal favorites is to bring back into discussion again, Lethwei, also known as the Art of Nine Limbs. Lethwei is Myanmar's national combat sport, and it's often considered one of the most brutal fighting styles in the world. Most kickboxing styles rely on punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. Muay Thai is famous for being the art of 8 limbs, but Lethwei takes it one step further by adding one more element to make it a devastating style: headbutts. In Lethwei, headbutts are not just allowed, they're actively used in combinations. This makes close-range fighting even more dangerous and forces fighters to be extra creative with their attacks. One of the biggest differences between Lethwei and other striking arts is its win condition. In most kickboxing styles, fights are scored on a point system, with judges deciding the winner. But in traditional Lethwei, there are no judges. You can only win by knockout. If no one gets knocked out, the fight is ruled in a draw, making it one of the purest forms of combat sports. Maybe one day I'll finally see a character in fighting games take on this style. Kun Khmer, or Bokudor, is believed to have originated over 1,000 years ago, with evidence found in temple carvings at Angkor Wat, sharing its roots with other Southeast Asian striking arts like Muay Thai and Lethwei, but evolved with its own identity, shaped by Cambodia's warrior culture. One of the biggest differences between Kun and other kickboxing styles, especially Muay Thai, is the big focus on high volume striking. While Muay Thai fighters often rely on single, powerful kicks or knees, Bokudor fighters chain together fast, relentless combinations, in which the pace is pretty aggressive, with a lot of hand movement and pressure. There is a bit of boxing influence, and Kun fighters throw more punches and compare to Muay Thai practitioners, incorporating rapid combinations with fluid head movement. This creates a striking style that blends Western boxing with traditional Southeast Asian techniques. While Bokudor does use the clinch, it's generally less dominant than in Muay Thai. Instead of prolonged clinch fighting, its focus is breaking the clinch quickly to land fast elbow and knee strikes, and their elbow game is super vicious, y'all, often used in rapid succession rather than single devastating blows. Another style of kickboxing I would love to get explored in fighting games much more, and just to let you guys know, Bokudor is the old school and ancient term for this style. It is something that is originally used for the older ways of it. It is still practically the same art, but Kun Khmer is just a modern saying of it just to pay respects. Draka Kickboxing originated in Russia in the early 1990s as a combat sport that fused Western kickboxing with elements of Russian sambo and freestyle wrestling. Unlike traditional kickboxing styles, this allows throws, clinch fighting, and even takedowns, making it more dynamic and unpredictable. What makes it unique is the ability to score points through takedowns, much like in Sambo or MMA. Fighters can control their opponent using sweeps and wrestling techniques, blending striking and grappling. Leg sweeps aren't just used defensively like in Muay Thai, they're part of an aggressive offense for Draka. The fighters use clinches to set up takedowns, even using punches and kicks to set up powerful throws, similar to what you see in MMA. Draka may not be as widely known as Muay Thai or Dutch kickboxing, but it has a big impact in combat sports, especially MMA. Many Russian MMA fighters incorporate Draka techniques into their game, blending striking with takedown-heavy offense. Fighters like Fedor and Khabib, while not pure Draka fighters, have used similar hybrid striking and grappling styles in their fights throughout their careers. And finally, Adithada comes from Tamil Nadu, deeply rooted in the ancient martial art of Payatu, something that we talked about in a previous fighting style episode. Unlike modern kickboxing styles, it blends strikes with pressure point attacks, making it a deadly mix of sport and self-defense. While Muay Thai and Dutch kickboxing rely heavily on boxing-style punches, this style incorporates open palm strikes instead of closed fists to avoid hand injuries, elbow strikes used with rapid combinations, powerful knee attacks similar to Muay Thai, and Marma Adi techniques, which is targeting pressure points to disable opponents. The kicks within this style are circular but snappy, focusing on speed over brute force, and also use a mix of high and low round kicks, axe kicks similar to Taekwondo, spinning kicks or surprise attacks. Unlike Muay Thai's heavy reliance on absorbing hits, Adithada emphasizes quick footwork and deflections. It's not just about trading blows, but outmaneuvering opponents with agility. Kickboxing is such a fascinating style in itself, which variety is through the roof of when it comes to kickboxing itself, ranging from Muay Thai, Lethwei, so many different others out there, like I mentioned before. Even American kickboxing, even though it's not really popular like it used to be, you will see glimpses here and there of certain characters embody that style in itself. And especially you'll end up seeing, like I mentioned before, Dutch kickboxing with Brian Fury, and to many others out there for American kickboxers like DJ, or even, just the likes. Because I personally feel why it is super popular in fighting games is it just goes back to that basic question. It looks really cool, and it's very flashy, powerful factor hits. And also, like you've seen in today's video, there are so many different ways you can go about it and adding those styles onto characters in these traditional fighting games. So that will never ever be a dried up well for possibilities of these characters. Personally, I hope one day we end up seeing Lethwei make its way into a fighting game, because God, that is still one of the most coolest kickboxing styles out there to me personally. So hopefully I end up seeing one day we see someone getting headbutt and started just doing combos on top of that. Like, a man can dream, y'all. So personally, I feel that is the big key factor of why we see so many of those styles from a lot of these developers out there, because you really can just blend and have multiple characters out there, like how you've seen throughout history, especially with Taken. We've had characters range from Falcaram, Josie, Bruce Irvin, things like that. And especially like with Street Fighter, you'll see with Sagat, Adon, and the list goes on. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode. And it's been a long time coming. I do apologize. It took me quite a bit. So I wanted to go about this one in a different way. And also had to deal with the copyright stuff. So yeah. But anyways, y'all, if you enjoyed today's video, please give a like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can stay updated on any new content coming to the channel. And right after this, you guys have really voted of what you want to see explored next. So get ready to end up seeing Judo being covered next. But don't want to take up too much of y'all time. This is Blackmore here, signing out. Catch you later, folks. Peace.
The study of Kung Fu fighting